Hey, everybody, we're here for a new episode of Five for Talking. We're back. It's the new year. We're coming off that episode, first one. We're jumping right into this. This is going to be mostly Leaf talk. I think we got a maybe one or two NHL things, but we're here for the ride. We're here for Caps' favorite team. Definitely not my favorite team. By the way, Caps is here. That's him, the captain of the show. Say hi to the people.
Hi, people.
Said hi. All right. Um, so since I know you don't want to, this video is coming out directly off the Sunday night game against Detroit. Uh, it will be up Monday morning. Tell me how the game went?
Coming off of a back-to-back, um, you would think that they would come out of the gate just flying because they're facing a team that's pretty close in the standings. If they would lose tonight, which they did, Detroit would be 1 point back. Pretty much sums up the whole thing. I mean, poor game last night, and everybody could talk about the officiating. Yeah, it's not. No, the team sucked. The team did not play well. Um, he, I mean, Keefe came into today's game. You know that Detroit actually arrived late to the game.
Did they?
Yeah, you know.
I mean, there's all kinds of bad weather going around, so
Oh, of course. But he juggled all the lines. Um, and I would say the big guys didn't show up. I mean, Marner played okay, but the other guys did not. Um, and yeah, I'm just Samsonov played okay, uh, but I would say, and this is pretty much the ongoing theme for this whole year, that defense, something's got to change with that defense. You know, they have aspirations of winning a cup this year. You're not going to be able to do it with somebody on Brody on your on your first and second pairing or first pairing, excuse me. It's just not going to happen. Benoit has been playing okay, but the fact of the matter is, there are Giordano's bench today, and rightfully so. The third period last night had uh, Keefe benching, well, not really benching, but limiting Tavares's and Bertuzzi's minutes, rightfully so. I just feel as though that this accountability thing that Keefe is doing is too little, too late.
it's like
Um,
3 years too late.
yeah, and I don't know if that had to do with more so Kyle Dubas or whatever the case may be. I'm not sure, but the fact is that I just think it's something's got to change. What that is, I'm not sure, but something's got to happen. It's just going to happen soon because um, they're going to face a more difficult challenge next year with the cap going up 4 mil and it being used up by Matthews's and Nylander's new contracts. So it's going to be even tougher for them to get more get good depth players. But I know I'm all over the place right now. But the fact is that the time is now. That's pretty much the sum or the conclusion of what my point is. The time is now to do something. And what that is, I'm not entirely sure, but I don't know. I, you take it, man, because I'm at a loss for words right now.
Well, last night they faced Colorado Avalanche and they lost 6-3. They look like trash. They scored 3 goals. All 3 goals were unassisted. If someone explained that to me.
5-3.
Um, I I didn't. I watched a little bit of tonight's game. I didn't get to watch all of it, so I'm not going to comment on tonight. But I can comment it on in general. We generally don't get a lot of pushback when we talk about this, but there have been like delusional people that just don't want to admit it. Keefe's got to go. Like I understand we're like in the middle of the season now, and it's probably not the right time, but like I don't think. I think no matter what happens at the end of the season, they need to fire him. What is going on? How is this still happening? And no, it's not just his fault. The players are to blame as well. Their defense has been absolutely horrible. Morgan Riley is an absolute like blemish on this team. Yes, he's there for them on the power play and stuff like that, but in high risk defensive situations, he's not helping us. Neither is Barry. Okay. And like, yes, Giordano.
Right?
Oh, sorry. You know what I mean.
Brody.
Brody. Giordano has to take the blame for what he did yesterday. But this is my point. You're benching Giordano, and it's a back to back, and he's old. When are you going to bench Morgan Riley to make a point? When do you bench Mitch Marner? I know Mitch Marner, people were saying he played well tonight. When do you bench Matthews for going 3 games without a goal? Like, and I know that's such a harsh thing to say, and I deserve criticism myself for saying stuff like that, but you pay Austin Matthews this much money to do this thing. Like, he's playing well this year, but you can't go 4 games without a goal and then score 5 goals in one game against Anaheim or something. You know what I mean? That's not gonna fly. Tavares has been all over the place. I mean, sure, for points he's been kind of consistent. I think Yarncroc has been pretty good. I don't know if I have much positive things to say about it.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Accountability needs to be all across the board. It can't be just your third or fourth liners or Bertuzzi. It needs to be everyone. It doesn't matter what these guys are making or how much say they have or supposedly. But the fact of the matter is, you are the coach. Accountability needs to be across the board. Like,
I need accountability on him as well from the upper management.
it's everyone. Yeah, it's everyone. Like the coach, everyone, the GM, every single person. It's just, and it's funny how you mention accountability. It's everyone. Do you look at Shanahan and be
He's
like,
got to go too.
yeah, there needs to be some sort of change.
I don't mind the GM personally. I can't remember his name for the life of me.
Or actually leave him. But the fact of the matter is that he just stepped into the role, and it's like he kind of got handed this stuff.
But he made moves that on paper we needed on this team.
They haven't really worked out that well.
No, they haven't. But from a just on paper aspect, and when you look at it, it's like, yeah, we did need those kind of players.
Yeah, yeah. It'd be nice if those players show up or on a consistent basis.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we got somebody on defense, maybe from Calgary. Anyways, but I
mean, it doesn't even necessarily have to be someone from Calgary. It could be anyone that steps into a role that's a stay-at-home defenseman that that logs in those big minutes that plays that vital role like that Riley cannot do, and and Brody can't do. Like you're going like there's even a chance these guys might not even make the playoffs. You know what I mean?
There's a very good chance of that right now. And to echo to your point earlier about you needed to come in here and you needed to beat this team for the reason that they're like right up your ass on the standings. Okay. They're also not a very good team. I don't care how they're playing right now. Name me someone on that team not named DeBrincat.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, they had a big check. Holmberg threw a big check on Kane in the first period, and he left the game.
Oh, I forgot Patrick Kane was even on their team.
You know what I mean? Detroit was down a guy, and they had James Reimer in net. You know what I mean? James Reimer let in, I think they said the stat, 17 goals in the last 4 games. Like, this was an opportunity and a half for you, and you dropped the ball. Like, you totally dropped the ball. Like, did you even see what the lines were? Like, he literally juggled.
Oh yeah, I saw
everyone. Like, 2 years too late, man. 3 years too late. Whatever the hell it was. It's. Come on, like, I don't know.
It's a one of those situations, right? Like, it's hard to really pinpoint what the actual issue is, except that it's all an issue. And the goaltending hasn't been good either. Like, good on Martin Jones for playing his little heart out. But he still hasn't been very good. Mind you, the stuff
Well, look at the team that's in front of them.
offense is not scoring, defense is not defensing. Um,
You talk about some of these delusional fans out there. They're the same idiots that are going around saying, well, "You do something like, like, just trade Lilligren for McDavid, and you'll be okay."
no
It's just,
kidding. The Leafs have nothing on their team of trade value because you can't trade anyone that's except for like Marner or Nylander that's going to get you anything.
they're going to be tricky. It's going to be very tricky because of the fact that they're up against the cap. They're going to have to.
I want to ask a earth-shattering question. And I'm prepared to be destroyed in the comments.
I know I got to hold on because it's earth shattering. Okay, go ahead.
Do you trade Morgan Riley?
No. No.
But you
No.
could get something for Morgan Riley, and his contract
No.
is cheap.
But I don't think Morgan Riley is the worst option out of this defensive core. I
Do you
just don't.
trade Barry?
Who the
I
hell's
did that on
Barry?
purpose. I did it on purpose. Do you trade
Yeah.
Brody?
Yes. Yes.
Do you trade Lilgren?
I would definitely look at options of what the return would be, but Brody would be literally at the top of the list because who do you pair with Riley to go into the playoffs?
If
If it's Brody, then you got another thing coming. Once you go up against a team like Florida, oh man, they're just gonna pound you to the ground, and
do
there's
you
nothing that
package
they're gonna be able to do.
do you
About it.
package possibly like a Brody and maybe like a forward? I'll just throw a name. This is not. It could be anyone. Max Domi and Brody, and like one of your later draft picks to a team for a good defenseman, like an actually not like just a stay-at-home defenseman, not a superstar defenseman, but someone who's like a legitimate, like good defenseman in the NHL.
I look at
And
all
then
options, but to your point, to add to your point, they would have to sweeten the deal by adding draft picks, like you said, because they're gonna have to have that team retain salary for that guy they pick up.
okay, so but
You have
let's say you move a Brody and a forward and draft picks. I don't know what draft picks. Let's say 2 draft picks. You figure it out later. They retain some salary. We get a defenseman back. If you traded Domi, for example, and Brody, that's a lot of salary gone. That's like what, 7 million, almost 8 million.
mhm.
So that's like a decent amount. They might not have to retain much. But anyways, to a team and near the bottom, okay, that's trying to just get whatever, and then maybe you trade Lilgren after that to replace the forward, and you bring in a forward from a team who's trying to get younger and has like a veteran that on a contract that they want to move.
I look at all options. I see what the return is, and I see. I mean, it's hard for me to
I mean,
say
maybe you
because
move Nick Robertson.
yeah, I've heard a lot of chatter about that. Um,
Nick Robertson for Jason Robertson, straight up.
yeah, that will never happen.
That's what the Leaf fans won't think,
Yeah, that's what the delusional Leaf fans think.
which is all of them.
Um, let's just put it this way: Brad Tree leaving is going to have one hell of a trade deadline. Um, I think he knows what he needs to do. It's just a matter of executing and having a a trade partner willing to do business with him. That's it. I mean, I look at all options. You can't trade any of the big guys because of their no trade clauses.
You
It's
got to make sure you say that.
I got to make sure I say that because
It's
but
delusion. We'll set in.
it's going to be very very tricky, man. It's going to be very tricky. You know, it's going to be tough.
And for the Leafs, at least trading in the East is going to be difficult because all the way down to Buffalo, who is the like third last place team in the East, all have a shot at making the playoffs still easily.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So like you really can only trade with Columbus and Ottawa in that regard. Like maybe you get Claude Giroux for Liljegren or something like that because they just want to dump the salary. Um, and then like even in the West,
Well, no, they got to retain salary in order to
yeah, sorry,
get
but like
fun.
maybe they don't want that because I think he comes off the books after this year. So that to
Yeah.
them it's like a salary dump. Next year they don't have to take the money.
Well, you have that little chatter about Corey Perry and that, there's
No,
interest in the
no.
Leafs. And I heard about that.
Corey
And it's
Perry's
like,
not good.
it's like that was just a rumor. I don't even think it's true. But um, if you could sign Corey Perry for 700,000, like, or
No.
the league minimum, that'll help out your bottom
It'll
your
help you
your
take bad
yeah.
penalties.
Oh, he's a legit pest. Like, he drives the opposition crazy. I don't know how valuable he is now, when he's off the alcohol, but but like,
Let him drink during the games. Ed Belfour.
no, Ed Belfour was an anomaly, man. That guy was just friggin'
I'm
that guy was
convinced
something.
now that his career is over, that like 90% of what we saw was just the alcohol. Like imagine him, he was just actually a really bad goalie.
Well, let's just look at it this way. I mean, are we talking about Ed Belfour? Or are we talking about Corey Perry? Sorry.
I don't know. You decide.
Okay. Anyway, Corey Perry, um, you know, they talk about, interest, mutual interest with the Leafs. The fact of the matter is, in order for the Leafs to sign this guy, it has to be league minimum. And I'm pretty sure there's a team out there that will probably sign him for more. So the option of being able to sign Corey Perry is, I don't know, like minimal to none. Um, but the fact of the matter is, Brad Treliving, the top of his list, has to be to find a very good stay-at-home defenseman for that top pair. That's the top of the list. It's not a goalie, it's a defenseman. Um, and if they can work some magic after that, great. But the top of the list is a defenseman, and that's pretty much all I have to say about that.
Um, yeah, that's absolutely fair. So I don't have anything else about the Leafs. They also need a goalie. Uh, and I'm still gonna die on that hill. Justin Wall ain't it.
Joseph,
Justin Barry is what I meant to say.
I mean, you're absolutely right. I
Why
think
do I keep calling him Justin? I've been doing that for 3 weeks.
because you probably saw Justin Hall tonight and on Detroit, and it just kind of resonated with you. But um, I'm hoping that Wall plays well. I hope he is the number one guy. I hope he does end up being the number one guy, because the fact of the matter is, before he got injured, he only had one really really good game. That was it, and it wasn't consistent. Um, but hey, I hope he surprises us. That's it. Bottom line, I hope he surprises us. I'm trying to be optimistic about him, but he ain't gonna start getting into games until what, sometime next month, and we're getting closer and closer to trade deadline. So that's going to be very very tricky for Brad Treliving to make a decision on that. So I don't know.
All right, well, we're gonna move on here. I think everything you said is amazing. You're a great guy. You should get paid a lot
Thank
more to
you.
do this.
Well, we'll see what happens.
He has the biggest contract in the RLG company currently. 85 cents and a loaf of bread. It's good
All right,
bread though.
let's move on. Let's move on.
Listen, I'm trying to move on. All right, let's talk about these stupid ass jerseys.
Okay. I watched Hockey Night in Canada last night, and everybody on there are like raving about these jerseys. These jerseys are awful.
They get paid to do that, by the way. This is my
Like,
okay. You ready for my thing here?
oh,
They're not good, okay?
they're not.
But that aside, why did you do a jersey yellow on yellow? Why wouldn't you pick any other color? There's green if you're trying to do like basic colors. There's also like black, since you have a white jersey. Um,
But how does this
why
work?
is there a white jersey?
I don't get it. So how does this work? Like there are two teams. Are the brighter colors like half of the team wearing white, half of the team wearing yellow, and then the opposition half of them wearing blue, half of them wearing
Do
red?
they
Like
change jerseys halfway into the game?
I don't get how does this
Is
work?
there 4 teams again?
I don't know. I haven't watched an All Star game in a while because I just think it's boring.
Well, there was the last couple I've had 4 games, 4 teams.
Oh, really?
Listen, we're not here to
Okay.
talk about
Well,
the rules, okay? We don't need comments telling us how we're wrong. Yeah, leave the comments.
who cares about the All Star game,
tell
man?
us.
These jerseys are
Tell
horrible.
us. Geez, those are so awful. I keep forgetting the All-Star games in Toronto. Like I want to go, but also like who cares?
Yeah, $500 later,
Oh, for sure. Here, $500. You're lucky if you even get in the door for $500. A
dude.
Leaf game is like $200 to sit at the top.
Don't get me started on that. But the fact of the matter is, why would I even want to go to a game where like players are just kind of skating around doing nothing?
Yeah, I
They're not
agree.
trying because they're doing everything they can to not get injured.
Listen, I can pay $500 plus to watch a bunch of people pussyfoot around for an hour, or I could go watch like SmackDown or
What?
or AEW for
Who?
$100, $80.
Really? Wrong channel.
No, right channel. I went to a 5-hour pay-per-view that I paid $100 for great seats in Scotiabank.
Yeah.
This is gonna cost you $500 to like literally have a bleeding nose for the entire time.
Well, I
And
don't
it's
want.
gonna be shit hockey.
Oh yeah, legit.
But okay, like
Like
let's
they're
be
not going to be
honest.
even trying.
Why did they do yellow on yellow?
Why did they do any of these jerseys?
Okay, but like I get it, it doesn't look good. But red with the yellow, it stands out. Blue with the yellow stands out. The white with the yellow also stands out, but I don't know why you chose white when there's actual colors you could choose. Green is a color. I don't know if anybody knew that works there. Pink, like pick a purple, a color. Anyways, we're gonna move on from this because this is stupid. But
Can you think of those old like NHL? Which ones? Old school All Star orange ones, I think. They
oh,
could
like
have
the
done an
Campbell
updated.
and the
Yeah,
Wales conference.
They could have done an updated version of those, man. Come on,
You could have
like.
because they brought back those '90s one recently with the like neon colors on it,
Hmm.
the Mario Lemieux. Um, I don't know. I don't really care about the All Star game. I know we've said that multiple times. How do you feel about the 10-game winning streak for the Edmonton Oilers? Franchise record, by the way, better than Gretzky.
We know what they're capable of. Like they could be one of the top teams in the NHL, and they're getting there. Unfortunately, they all as of right now they're second to Winnipeg right now because Winnipeg is a friggin' monster right now of a team, and they lost two of their star players. But um, Edmonton has been able to play out of their struggles and to establish themselves as one of the top teams in the NHL. McDavid and Draisaitl are back to being big. McDavid and Draisaitl. Hyman's playing well. Um, Skinner's playing well, but I still think they got it. I still think they need a goalie.
Yeah.
I still think
I
they need a
think when
goalie.
push comes to shove and it gets to real serious hockey, they don't have it. I mean, they're always a potential option, but they're missing something for sure. And right now, like even after winning 10 games in a row and how good they've played over the last month, they're still the second wild card spot. And they're 1 point away from being knocked out of the wild card spot by the
Well, sure,
Kraken.
because they were dreadful in the beginning of the season. I mean, they're playing their way back into those spots, but they were out of a while. They were not even close. They were like bottom of the barrel at the beginning
Yeah.
of the season, man. Good
And
on them. I mean, that's they're playing well.
they got a long way to go there because ahead of them they have the Kings, Vegas, and Canucks in their own conf or division, which are all good. And then in the conference, you also have Dallas, Colorado, and Winnipeg, which are all playing very well.
Yep. Well,
Dallas has been
Dallas
losing
is
really questionable games.
Dallas is
I don't think
not
Ottinger's back though.
no. But Dallas is I don't know. They're not playing well. Vegas is doing Vegas stuff, like they're playing well. Um, but I don't see Dallas as one of the top teams in the NHL, man. Like I just don't see it. Um, I'm pretty sure at some point, maybe in the next few weeks, we're probably going to do like a mid-season Stanley Cup projection rankings
It's
against,
going to happen. It will not be next week, but it will be the week after.
and I don't see Dallas being
I
part
do.
part of that top end
I mean, they're
Stanley Cup
still one of
challenge.
those teams. It's just they
That
lose
could
really
change for me.
strange games. Like they're
Yeah,
not going to be the number one team.
no, because right now they are not in the West. Like I have a few teams that are ahead of them.
Vancouver is the best team in the West.
Oh, jeez, yeah, Vancouver's. I've always thought Vancouver was good. It's just I didn't think that changing the coach was just the
But
lone thing that
now,
they needed to do in order to get to that top
look,
tier.
Calgary's playing a little better.
They got a long way to go.
They changed coaches. Edmonton playing a little better, change coaches.
Yep. I see where
Vancouver
you're going.
playing a lot better, change coaches. But
I
and
see
this
where
is
you're
even
going.
coming from you guys. Well, not like you guys really push back, but everyone that we know was even like, "It's Keefe is not the problem." I'm telling you, you bring in a real coach, and this team will change. Our coach right now, yes, he's still like a younger end coach, but this is a career minor league AHL coach. This is not like someone that came in with like a fountain of experience and knowledge, a wealth of knowledge. He's just like a, a
I think
random
the
dude.
pool. I think the pool was pretty thin at the end of the season.
Could
They
have got Bruce
probably
Boudreau.
no. They can easily get Craig Rubé now.
That's
That
who
can
you want.
that would be one of the better choices right now.
Why don't we just get Ken Baumgartner,
Yeah, I mean, the top of the food chain would be Joe
Kelly
Quenville, but
Butchberger?
Joe Quenville would have been like my top choice, but for obvious reasons, that's never going to happen. But you know, I
Nor
mean,
should it happen.
yeah, no, it's definitely.
But yeah, I don't have anything else. Do you?
No, I'm gonna go drink.
All right then. Got to wash away the sorrows of the Toronto Maple Leafs. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for being delusional, and check out the next episode.